Our goal is to guide our clients not just to the best deal, but also to do business with the right people. It's my opinion that who you do business with matters just as much, if not more, than what you're buying or how much you buy it.
The first red flag for me, if I was buying a vehicle, I want to know all the information. I want to know the numbers. If I ask for certain details and they're hiding them or they're just going back and forth and not really willing to give you the information that you need, as a culture of a dealership, how do we take care of the customer? How can we create a lifelong customer? It's not just the first purchase. It's not just the only purchase. I want to help your family, your friends. I want to help you on any vehicle buying need that you ever need. We don't need to, as consumers or customers, don't hold back any information that you think might be holding you from getting the best deal possible. We can't help you or fight for you. Green flag, something positive would be the way that you're contacted by your salesperson. Don't go shopping to 10 different places. Find that dealership that you know is going to take care of you.
Welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have a live episode of MotorCast from freaking Lexington, Kentucky. But not only are we in Lexington, Kentucky, we're at the 800% headquarters, and we have the man, the myth, the legend, Evan freaking Walters in the building. And Evan, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, but I gotta give you a little pregame introduction. Evan has become my friend. I met Evan about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Yeah. I met him in Arizona, and dude was just super humble, super nice, open arms, just welcomed me in, a part of the 800% group. I flew from Georgia to Arizona. Didn't know who I was going to see. One of the first faces I saw, and dude just welcomed me. And since then, it's been a wrap. He's helped me grow my dealership. He's helped me mold my mindset. He's helped me get my team members on the same mindset we need to be on. And if you're an avid watcher or listener of MotorCast, then you know bringing value, entertainment, and information to you is the most important and critical piece, and that's really where he's going to help you out. The reason that I believe Evan is the professional out of anybody else we could have ever brought to. In a small 5 years, Evan helped 8,000 customers get their vehicles financed from a franchise dealership. Most of the time through MotorCast, I can only bring you information through an independent perspective. So Evan will not only be able to bring you that franchise eyesight, but also as a professional who's helped over 8,000 customers. Evan, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rahim, first of all. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Glad to be a part of it, brother. Anything you do, I support. Absolutely, 800%. And Rahim touched on it, 8,000 customers in 5 years. I was in the dealership for over 10 years. It was a Chevy store, small town, rural area, but a lot of deals. We were going 800% the whole time. You know, all gas, no brakes, as my guy Bruce Miller would say.
Shout out, Bruce.
Shout out to Bruce Miller. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, I'm just glad to be here, and hopefully I can provide value to anybody watching and to everybody here.
Absolutely. And let me just touch on what he just said. He said in a small town. Evan, how many people lived in that town?
9,600.
9,600. So think about what he did in that short period of time where he was in finance. He actually sold 85% of the entire population of vehicles.
Absolutely.
That's about what he did.
That's a good way to put it, man. I haven't thought of it like that. Yeah.
So Evan, the goal today is we're going to try to bring as much value as possible. First, before we get straight into maybe the wheeling and dealing part of it, let's jump into you've worked at a super successful dealership, right? You guys were selling over 1,000 units a month, and you had the opportunity to help over 8,000 people. And then now you're somebody who trains other dealers. How many dealers do you train?
So we've got about 75 rooftops right now, owners, GMs, and then obviously we've got about 100 or so finance members that are in the group that I help train, that I work with personally. So overall, I would say maybe 200 people or so.
Maybe 200 people. So I asked that question to say this: if there's anybody that knows green flags and red flags of a dealership, I believe it's you. So our goal is to guide our clients not just to the best deal, but also to do business with the right people. It's my opinion that who you do business with matters just as much, if not more, than what you're buying or how much you buy it for. So, Evan, what are some maybe 3 red flags? How does one of our potential clients know that, hey, like this is somebody I need to avoid, this is a dealership I need to avoid? What are some early red flags they can look out for?
Yep. So I'll go from the finance perspective first, and we can kind of elaborate if we need to. But the first red flag for me, if I was buying a vehicle, I want to know all the information. I want to know the numbers. If I ask for certain details and they're hiding them or they're just going back and forth and not really willing to give you the information that you need, that's kind of a red flag, because a lot of people, a lot of dealerships nowadays, we have to give out that information to the customer to protect that customer, to give them the best experience. And some dealers, unfortunately, they like to hide that things for just the pure fact of greed sometimes.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is it's not true that I need to go inside the dealership to find out what my payment is?
Absolutely not. That should not be the case.
Why do you think they're making you come in to find out the payment?
It's just the old ways, man, and it all goes back to NADA and the structure of a dealership and what they thought was the best way for customer satisfaction, customer experience, customer reaction, like Steve said. Shout out to Drive with Steve Rossler. But yeah, man, you got to have that customer experience, and I think that sometimes we put that aside. It's not our number one thing, and as a culture of a dealership, that needs to be the first thing that you think about is how do we take care of the customer? How can we create a lifelong customer? It's not just the first purchase. It's not just the only purchase. I want to help your family, your friends. I want to help you on any vehicle buying need that you ever need. And that's the goal.
And that's a green flag, right? So we're talking about red flags, but that's the green flag. Find somebody who just wants to help you. Find
Absolutely.
somebody who's doing it for your needs and your wants, and not necessarily how you're going to help them, but what they can do for you without getting anything in return.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. So I guess what are some other red flags or green flags that people should look out for?
Yeah, so I would say a green flag, something positive, would be the way that you're contacted. We'll go to the sales side. The way that you're contacted by your salesperson. Is it just a quick text saying, hey, when can we set an appointment? Or is it a video personalized with them in it, with the vehicle actually in the video? You actually get to see it firsthand before you're actually there. They don't want you to just, hey, when can I get you in? I can't send you anything until you get here. You'll get the best deal when you come into the dealership. Again, we're going to that virtual world. We're going to that digital marketing. We're going to that digital space for a lot of customers. I mean, think of Amazon. They've got so simple of just a buy now button. Like, we need to think of that as a dealership. And as a consumer, I think that's a green flag, is look at how they're communicating with you and look at how they really care. And I think caring comes with effort, and effort is going to be, I'm not just sending you a text, calling you, leaving you a short voicemail. I'm going to make sure I get a hold of you. I'm going to personalize you a video. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to tend to your needs 800%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to confuse that, because I think a lot of people unfortunately look at that in a negative light. But I actually, as the same point of view as you, I am so thankful that you submitted that lead last night when you were with your family. I am so thankful that you and your spouse talked about this vehicle and took time out of your day to give me your name, number, and email address.
Absolutely.
I don't think reaching out to you one time to see if you're available is okay.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure you have as much of my time as humanly possible. I want to make sure that, because I don't know if you prefer call, text, email, or video yet, that I'm going to do all of them so I catch you on the best platform that makes the most sense for you.
Absolutely.
Right?
I definitely agree.
And it's coming from a place of appreciation.
Yep.
Awesome,
absolutely,
man.
Absolutely. And I want everybody to know that's watching, like Rahim and everybody at Motorvation, they're not just doing this to sell cars. It's a bigger cause. There's a bigger cause in that, and it is to help people. And in scenarios that maybe you're not able to get a vehicle, or you've been to a couple dealerships and they haven't worked with you, like, this is the team that you want to be with. You want to be with like-minded individuals that have a purpose bigger than just selling cars. And I'll tell you, they have that purpose.
Dude, and I am so honored. I am so honored for Evan to say that, and that means so much to me, because the store he was at was selling more units in a month than we did last year. So so from somebody with that perspective to shine that light on us, I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
And so let's continue with that train, right? So the goal is to help people. What are some ways, like we'll talk about different types of clients, because all of our viewers are a little bit different in age and the situation they're in and things like that. Let's talk about starting with that prime customer. And for those of you who don't know or do know, that prime customer is somebody with credit is not an issue. They have options. If you're in that position, how do you approach a car deal?
Yeah, so the first thing, kind of going back what I said before, is just making sure that you ask for all of the information that you actually want. Be upfront with the salesperson. Be open with them. Actually respond to their messages. Send them a video back. Like, make sure that it's a mutual relationship, that you're not just doing a transaction. You're gaining somebody that's going to hopefully help you for the rest of your life, hopefully help your family get the cars that they need. And I think that's a big part of it.
Man, I actually really like that you said that, bro, because I've never thought about it, because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
If I'm getting a video, I'm going to send you a video back. And if I see that you're hyped up, I'm going to be hyped up. And,
Yeah.
and the reason is because think about it from the other point of view. You don't like when the dealership is just transactional. Right? You don't like that at all. You want them to care for you. You want them to appreciate you. And you want them to want to give you the best deal without you asking for it. Right?
Absolutely.
I imagine. So as a salesperson, I want you to get the best deal, but I want you to be deserving of it.
Absolutely.
I want you to show me that you're also appreciative of how hard I'm working for you. And I think that that's a super important point, man. And I think the moment both parties drop the transactional cloak, it's so much more fun.
Absolutely, man. And I'll touch on the finance side as well. It's like we don't need to, as consumers or customers, don't hold back any information that you think might be holding you from getting the best deal possible. We can't help you or fight for you. Like when I was in the finance office, if a customer came to me and they were prime credit and they had a check or they had a credit union that was doing their own financing, and I didn't know that they had a certain rate, I couldn't compete or fight or leverage lenders together to save them thousands of dollars over the course of that loan. And that's what we want to do at the end of the day. Car dealers aren't out there to get you anymore. It's not. Now some are, but like we'll go back to where we said you got to find that culture. You got to find that meaning, somebody that's gonna not just sell cars, but create fans, create people that are actually gonna be with us forever. So make sure that you get with that right person, but also let them know what you have in front of you. Let them know, hey, I've got a 4.9% on 72 months. Is there any way that you could help or do better? Like, don't be afraid to show those cards. It's always been told in the past as consumers to hold those cards back because they might be trying to switch you or whatever the reason is. But don't hold the cards back. Show the dealer what you're working with, and hopefully we can help you.
Yeah, and best case scenario they do, and worst case scenario you got freaking perfect credit anyway. Nothing could break you. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, it's not going to hurt.
So and now let's go to that subprime client, somebody who has had challenges. Maybe life has hit them. I know a lot of people bounce back from COVID, and for some people they just didn't make good decisions, and it is what it is, and life is what life is. But they're in this situation right now. They don't have good credit, right? They're in the rebuilding stage. They have bad credit. How does somebody like that approach a car deal?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that I think of it, but I think the first thing that I would do if I was in the situation would be don't go shopping to 10 different places. Find that dealership that you know is going to take care of you. It's going to personalize things for you, even if you do have subpar credit. Making sure that they tend to you, find you the best deal, find you the best lender. Don't settle for the first deal. I'm not saying go to a dealership and settle for the first deal that you get. You can shop around a few, but just find that dealer that really cares and that you fit in with the culture, because they're actually going to take care of you. They're going to work with those lenders and say, hey, look, he doesn't have $5,000 down, but we can do $500, maybe a cosigner. Or, hey, he can't afford this payment. I know you're approving it, but we need a lower rate so that customer can actually afford that payment. So don't be afraid to go into a dealership if you do have bad credit or have been denied from multiple dealerships in the past or sent to multiple lenders and it's destroyed your credit. Don't be afraid to take that other chance with the right dealer, and just let them know your situation. Let them know what you've been through instead of, again, hiding those cards and they don't really know how to help or what you've been through in the past. So that's one key thing.
And in that situation, just to piggyback off that, if you're in that situation, my opinion is don't shop for a car, shop for a dealer.
That's right.
Like
that's right.
And anybody's going to find the right vehicle for you, but it's going to be that person that actually wants to take the time out to make, like, how many calls do you think you have to make on an average subprime deal to get the best deal for that client?
Yeah, I mean, once you get it down to a science, once the dealer gets it down to a science, you're going to have a few lenders in mind just glancing off of the credit bureau and off the type of vehicle that you have and the income. So I would say maybe 3 to 4 calls, leveraging some lenders together to get you the best deal and the best protection, because I'll go back to the finance. Some of these as-is vehicles or vehicles that don't have coverage, we need to find a lender that's willing to be able to add some of those coverages in case something does happen mechanical to your car, and then you do have a higher payment, but you can't afford thousands of dollars of fixes. So we need to be able to work that into your budget off the get-go. So I think
because the last thing you want to do is you're finally approved, you leave with the vehicle, you don't have perfect credit, and now so many months later, or whatever, something breaks down, and you don't have the extra money to fix that issue or whatever the case is, and now you're back to square one. So like that, that's the worst thing you want to do. Now we'll talk about that last type of client, Evan. What about that first-time buyer? Maybe you don't have mom or dad to help you out, or maybe it's just not something that you don't want to do. You haven't had a chance, like my example, for example. I had no credit, and I was 22 years old. I had never had a credit card, never financed anything. What about somebody who's financing for the first time? How do they approach a car deal?
So we talk about finding that right dealer, but it's also being open and willing to let that dealer, that salesperson, that finance person, let them be willing to go to bat for you. You might have to have some money down. You might have to end up getting a co-signer. There might be other avenues that would best benefit you. So don't shut out and don't be stuck to one way. Don't go into the dealership saying, hey, I'm only buying this car if he can get it with just me on the loan, or I'm only buying it with no money down. Like, we have to establish, and as dealers, we need to strive, at least the right dealers, we need to strive to create forever customers. And yes, you might have a higher percentage rate to begin with, but we're going to get you a better deal over time. Maybe it's a Camry instead of a 4Runner, but 2 years, a year and a half, you come back to us, we treat you right, that you make the payments, we can get you in the car that you actually love, and then you can afford it at that time.
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. And just listening to you, Evan, it seems like it's always going to boil down to find the right people.
That's it.
And I think that's why I vibe with you so much, because we have that same exact strategy.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else, just being the professional that you're, is there anything else that you think our viewers can just either listen about or you think is something important for them to know just from your professional experience?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, when we keep talking about this, but finding that right dealer, maybe how do you find that right dealer? I would go to their website. I would call. I would make sure to get in front of some salespeople, some managers, visit them. You know, especially if you're in the area, drop by, talk to some people before you even talk about buying a car. Check the establishment out. Look at the Google reviews. Google reviews are huge. Us on the dealer side, you know, that's massive for us because that's what people look at, is the Google reviews. So check out the reviews. See how they answer not only the good reviews, but how they answer the bad reviews. Like, no dealer's ever going to be 800% perfect all of the time. So let's look at maybe some of the hard scenarios and how they work it out with the public, and then actually visiting that dealership. That would be a big one. But now everything's pretty much online. So go to their socials, check out their. And I tell dealers all the time about this, like, not to guide your salespeople or your management in certain directions on what they post on social media, but we need to check that as a customer. You know, on just the personal side of the social media, what are they actually posting about, and how are they in their personal life, not only the business life?
I think that's really true, man. So like, some takeaways I have from that is, like, if you jump on a dealership's website and it says call for price, they're probably not the ones that's going to help you out, right? If you jump on a dealership's website and there's no online application to do a finance application, they're probably not the best adept to be able to help you out. If the amount of inventory to choose from is very low, probably, in my opinion, unless you're that prime customer and they have the perfect vehicle for you. But if you're in that first-time buyer situation or that subprime situation, probably with less options, the odds are they're not going to be able to help you as much as they could. And then that social media point is super important, right? Get to know them through their social, right? If you could find a salesperson, awesome. But if not, if they at least have a social media presence at the dealership, they care, in my opinion, enough about people that they're creating the content to post it up. And I think that's a good starting point. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, man. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. But before we wrap up, I do want Evan to just give a little, drop a link or something and just talk about a little bit of what he does, because he's helped my dealership grow tremendously. And if by the chance we have somebody from a different dealership listening, I want to make sure I give them the same opportunity that he's given me to grow.
We'll drop the link in the comments below this video just so you can click it for ease. But just to tell you a little bit about what we do, we help dealerships and owners of all sizes, independent franchise groups, GMs, owners, finance, sales, whatever you're doing in the dealership, we want to help and we want to serve. We want to make just like what we were talking about, the customer experience, we want to make sure that all the customers out there are getting the best experience and reaction possible. And to do that, we've got to let 60,000 dealers, all the dealerships in the world, know that we exist. So I'm just humbled to be a part and be a friend of Rahim and Motorvation. And yeah, check it out. There's a link below, and we'd love to help serve you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I have to co-sign that. Evan and his team has pulled my dealership to way brighter days. And if you need that, definitely hit them up. And and remember to tune in to MotorCast on Spotify at MotorCast, on YouTube at MotorCast, on all social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at MotorvationTrucks. And Evan, how could anybody find you?
Yep. So you can reach me out on social, Evan Walters, Facebook, LinkedIn, 800% Elite F&I or 800% Elite Automotive Club. That is our website. So just www.800% Elite Automotive. And again, I'll drop some links in the comments. That way you can find us.
Awesome. Thank you, Evan.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.